Okay. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Sorry for the tardiness. We had some technical issues. So, just to recap on last week, we one house, please. We had a look at conversion rate optimization, and basically, we had a brief introduction into digital marketing. We were diving into organic SEO well, before we had to end the class. So, so last week I gave a small assignment about creating a journey map and a sales funnel. Is there anyone that actually did some work on that? Nobody. Okay. Well, let's move on. So, we looked at organic SEO. So today we are going to be looking at on page. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. I don't want the battery to run down without me knowing again. Okay. So today we are going to begin with on-page SEO, and on-page SEO, it's basically the things that you do on the page to make it SEO compliant. So these are the things that Google looks for visually on your page to make sure that, okay, this page is compliant and the content is good and we are going to rank this page high. And it's basically about the things that we spoke last week. These are the things Google looks at in order to know that this page is exuding the right authority, the right relevance, and also the right trust. So the first thing that Google looks at is the URL. That is the link to the page. If you could switch to your Chrome. No, your. So just put school management system in Nigeria. It's already there. Okay, so scroll down. So you just click on this, just click on ServSims. So this is right here is the URL. And there are three ways you can do this URL. It can either be that you are ranking the first page, which is you are ranking the homepage of the website, of which the homepage of the website cannot have the homepage of this website is just servsims.com, not School Management System in Nigeria, because there's no company named School Management System in Nigeria, obviously. So what we try to do here is, since we are ranking for a keyword that is School Management System for Nigeria, we create a page in that website named School Management System in Nigeria. So our URL becomes southsims.com/school management system in Nigeria. And that's the first thing Google looks to. It says, this URL is southsims.com/school management system in Nigeria. So it says that means this page must be about school management systems in Nigeria. That's the first king. Okay. Okay, that's the first king in terms of SEO. So the second thing after the URL is the page name or the SEO title of the page. So Anya, if you can go back to Chrome again. Okay, and go back. This is it right here. This is the title of the page or the meta title of the page. So Google also looks here. It sees that the name of this page is southsims.com/school management system in Nigeria, number one. Then it now looks here. It says, this page belongs to the number one school management system in Nigeria. And the AI is intuitive. It can see that this word is here and this word is here. So that means what? This page must be about school management systems in Nigeria. So it tries to give it a ranking compared to the other pages that are vying for this keyword. Please switch back to Keynote. Then the third thing that Google looks at when deciding the on-page SEO of a page is the H1. Go back to Chrome, please. Then enter the site. This is the H1 of the page. So pages are written in terms of headings. You have your heading 1, and that is the main heading of the page. That's what the whole page is about. Then you have your heading 2s that serve the H1. Below the heading 2s, you can have H3s, H4s, H5s, depending on how you want the structure of your page to be. Although, in terms of SEO, there are specific structures depending on the keyword in which you are going to write your page. We'll get into that a bit later. But for now, the main takeaway from that slide is there are three kings of on-page SEO. The first is your URL. The second is your page title, which shows up here when you are in the page, but shows on Google's page. Then the third factor is your H1. So please switch back to the presentation. So there are smaller indicators. Your phone has locked. There are smaller indicators like the meta description, which on the Google's page, once you search for anything on Google, you see that the page has its name. After the link and the name, you see a bit of a description describing what the page is going to be about. Although that is a smaller, Google doesn't really look at the description, but for the human eye, we often read the descriptions to decide which pages we are going to read. So the main thing about that is that, first of all, you have to write a description that a lot of people will read and they'll be tempted to click on the page. And number two, you have to write a description that has the keywords in it, because the keywords are often bolded in the descriptions. Then you also have the content of the page. There are other things such as bold and italics, the anchor text, which are the links from your page to other pages, and also the word count, the amount of words you use on the page is also a factor for Google. Then the images that you use is also a factor. So in on-page SEO, how do we optimize the various elements that I just showed you? How do we optimize the URL? How do we optimize the H1? How do we optimize the description? How do we optimize these things? We optimize them with three main things. We optimize them with the main keyword. In the example that we use here, what was our main keyword, please? Don't be shy. School management system in Nigeria. That's the main keyword. So You optimize it with the main keyword. Then the second thing you optimize with is variations of the main keyword. You know, the one thing I said last week is that you have to make your page look natural. So if you are up in the page putting school management system everywhere, school management system everywhere, everywhere you can put it, Google is going to be like, this guy is trying too hard to hack our algorithm. So in order to trick them, you have to put words that are synonymous to school management system. So you can put school management software instead, or school management application. All of these are variations of your main keyword. And you can put these things at strategic places in order to optimize for that particular page. Then the third thing is with contextual terms. What are contextual terms? Contextual terms, just like the definition says, they give context. So basically, if I am talking about a certain thing, there are some words that I'm expected to use for you to know that I have knowledge on that issue. So let's say I am talking about cars and you don't hear me mention words like speed, words like tire, words like engine. You suspect they are not exactly variations of the keyword car, but they are words that you would use if someone knew what they were talking about in terms of cars. So basically, that's what contextual term is. They give your content context. So Google has certain words that it associates to certain topics. If you don't use those words, then it is less likely that your page has demonstrated enough relevance, enough authority, and enough trust. So basically, they assume you don't know what you are talking about. So the main things to know about on-page SEO is that the amount of times these signals are used in each element will determine how well the content is optimized for ranking. What this means is that the amount of times you use your main keyword on your page, the amount of times you use variations, the amount of times you use contextual terms, all of these are factors that will decide how well your content is optimized for a certain keyword. Then each keyword has different requirements as to how many times a signal should be included in each element of the content. So if you are ranking for school management system in Nigeria, for example, the amount of times you might need to put your main keyword in the page will be different than if you are ranking for best shoes in Abuja. It will be different if you are ranking in for where to buy the best phones in Nigeria. So each keyword has its own requirement of how much of these elements you can put in order to rank for them. And that is why we do research. If you put too little signals, your content won't rank. If you put too much, Google is going to penalize you because it's going to be obvious to them that you are not really genuine and you are trying to basically hack their system. So they seriously penalize pages for that. And there are tools that we use to know what the right range we should put in our content is. So one of those is Page Optimization Pro. So switch to my system. Okay, so this is one of the software that we use in order to know how we can structure our content in order to rank for a specific keyword. So let's look at this virtual sims is a software. It's a software that we are trying to rank for. So just click on view pages. So for this particular software, the keyword we are trying to rank for is virtual classroom application. Enter view page runs. Scroll down. then click open report. Okay, so right here you see this report is telling us that we currently have 0 words on our page because it's a page we've not yet created, but it's telling us that we should be targeting 1467 words. So the software doesn't bring this it doesn't bring these numbers from heaven. What it does is it looks at what the competition is doing, and it analyzes that this is what the competition is doing to rank on this page, and this is what you have to do in order to beat them. So it's already telling us that we need to write 1467 words in order to do well in this page. So if we scroll down here, then okay, so these are the variations of our keywords that we spoke about. So classroom, learning. We need to remember our main keyword is virtual classroom application. So you see things like virtual classroom software, virtual classroom, education, learning, application. So these are the words that can slot in instead of our main keyword in the content. Then in terms of our contextual terms, we also call them LSI, the things that add more context to the page. So if you are talking about a virtual classroom, there are some words you must use in the article. So this software has determined that whiteboard for virtual classes is relevant, average, online whiteboard, video, read, language, parents, free, review, info, users, review, participants, market. So it scrubbed through all the competition and decided that these are the words that appear in that page. So if you want to hit the right signals with Google, these are the things you have to do. So now let's look at the page structure, because the amount of headings that you use in the page is also relevant in terms of how well you rank in SEO. So what this software is telling us is that amongst the competition, this is the H1, that is the main heading. The lowest it saw out of all the competition that it did research on is 1. And the highest that it analyzed also had 1 keyword, 1 H1. So that means in your page, you only use 1 H1. Then in terms of H2, the lowest page that it saw in the competition had 8 H2s. The highest had 25. So it tries to give you an average. It is saying that you should have 15.80 H2s in your page, but we approximate it to 16. The same thing with H3s. It gave us the lowest, it gave us the highest, but it's giving us an average, which is 5. So the structure of your page is going to be decided by this software in order to make your own work easier, so that you don't under optimize and so that you don't over optimize. So it's already telling us your page is going to have 1 main heading, then it's going to have 16 subheadings. Under those subheadings, you can put 5 subheadings. Then you will stop at H4. You have 2 H4s. Then after that last H4, you don't have any other headings on your page. Basically, that is what it's telling you. And that is the main structure you have to remember in terms of SEO. Because the thing with this software is that you can go as deep as you want. It goes all the way down to telling you how many paragraphs you should have, how many links on your page you should have, how many image files you should have in the page. But me, I don't stress myself much, because for most of the competition, the thing about SEO is outdoing the competition. And for most of the competition, I've been able to rank pages by just obeying this H1, H2, H3, H4, then also doing my word count to suit the amount of words that I need in the content in total. But then if I were to do this and it doesn't work and I don't beat the competition quite well, then that is when I'll now start to go deeper and try and see what more I can do better than them. So after you've had your heading structure, the next thing is to look at how you are going to fit your main keyword and your how you are going to fit your main keyword, your variations, and your contextual terms into your content. So we spoke about the meta title, which is the title of the page. It is saying that for your exact keyword, that is the main keyword, you are going to use only one of it. in your page's title. Then in your H1, you are going to use your main keyword only once in your H1. Then if you notice, it tells you that do not use any exact keyword in your pages H2s, H3 and H4s and H5s. The reason for this is quite simple. I've already told you the three kings of SEO: URL, meta title, H1. So once you have put your main keyword in these three elements, there is no need to put it in your H2, because once Google goes through the URL of the page, sees that okay, the main keyword is there, it now comes to the title, it sees that yes, the main keyword is there, H1, the main keyword is there, they'll be like, ah, fine, this makes sense. But then they'll now see it in H2, they'll say, this guy is like he's doing too much. They'll see it in H3 again, this guy is walking a thin line, but let's just let it slide. Then they'll now see it in the H4 again, they say, this one is a thief, penalizing. That's just basically how it works. So basically, don't do pass yourself, don't do too much. It's like a situation whereby if you had a chance to flaunt the system and you don't do more than yourself, then you are not detected. But then if you go and overdo, it becomes obvious that there's something off. Anye, please, my phone, is falling. So now we have looked at the exact keyword. So now let's look at the variations. And because we don't want to put our exact keyword all over the page so that we will not arouse suspicion from Google, that is why they suggested variations. In these variations, we are allowed to freestyle and we are allowed to put it. But even that one says, if you put too much, you are going to be penalized. So what it's telling us is that in the meta title of the page, you use three variations of your page's of your page. You can use three variations of your keyword. And these are the variations right here: classroom, learning, virtual classroom software. You can use any of these three words in the meta title. These are variations. In your H1, you can use three variations. In your H2, you can use 6 variations. In your H3, you can use 2 variations. In your H4, you need only 1 variation. Then in your paragraph text that I said is over 1,000, is close to 1,500 words in the page, you will write 177 variations of your keyword. And I've already shown you what the variations are. So basically what this is saying is that your variations they are smaller signals than your main keyword, but you can use more of them without sparking attention from Google. But if you go and use more than 3 in your meta title, you go and use 10 in your meta title, you go and use 20 in your H1, go and use 50 in your H2 and 30 in your H3, still Google is going to be like, this bros, you are moving in a very, very suspicious manner. We need to look deep into you. And the way it works, like I said, Google system is automatic. The robots are what go into your site first. And once the robot crawls and they see that there is something suspicious here, maybe this guy is using too much, because they've already programmed them about what to look for. So once the robots ring an alarm, they will now send your website to a human reviewer. So it is now that human reviewer that will now look into it and they will now decide, this guy is a definite ole, let us penalize him. Okay, so the last thing that I said we are optimizing for is the contextual terms. So these are learning resources, technical support. These are the LSI terms. So basically it's telling us that we need to use, no, these are not very, these are not. So it's telling us in this case that we need to use 2 in the meta title, 2 in the H1, 4 in the H2, 2 in the H3, and 1 in the H4. So we need to keep this structure in order to get a right balance in terms of ranking on our keyword. So the good thing about Page Optimizer Pro is that now the system is not manual as it was before. So years before we had tools. Years before we had tools that would help us calculate how much of these things that we needed in a page, but then it would be up to us to put it in our content and count manually and make sure that we are hitting the right signals. But systems like Page Optimizer Pro, they have a score that we can use. So they have an optimization score that we can use to know how well we are doing on each page that we are writing. So let us see how we write this content in practice in order to fulfill this criteria. So going back, let me go to a page that we are doing well on. Where is Surf Sims? Okay. Okay. So this is the report on this specific page here. So it told us that it needs a word count of 2,134, and by some miracle we have the exact amount of words that we need on the page for that. Even myself, I don't know how I did it. Let me not lie to you, it's not any skill, it was just a miracle, because I cannot sit down and just write 2,134 words exactly. Nobody is that good. Okay, then they shall, but I don't know, I have not met them before. So the next thing that I look at when I'm trying to write this content is, how do I get the right heading structure? Because I feel like that is the easiest thing. If I can write a structure that fits the headings, the amount of headings that I want, then I can say that I have the right structure for the page. I'm trying to get it to show everything. Okay. Okay. So for this page, it said that we need one H1. So we currently have 1, and it's telling us that is good. Before we did not have this. Now we have a system that is going to tell us, okay, you are good here, you need to increase, you need to reduce. Here, it was telling us that we needed 9. We currently have 9. It's telling us to leave it as it is. That's good. Then here, it's telling us that we needed 13. We have 13. That is good. Then here, it's telling us that we need 9, but we currently have 8. So it's even advising us, increase the total number of H4s on your page by 1. We have 8 right now, and it's requesting 9, but it's not that big. It's not all the signals you have to. So long as you do enough signals to get a good score. Usually I try to aim for like 80. As you saw, my score was 84. Then H5, it's saying 0, 0, leave as is. So this is the first thing I send to the content writer in order to tell them, okay, we need 1 H1, 9 H2s, 13 H3s, 8 H4s, no H5s and no H6s on the page. This is the first thing I send to them and tell them, then they should make the content 2,000 and something words. Although in this particular content, I was the one that wrote it myself. So if we look at it in the page, this is our H1 here. This is our first H2. Then under that H2, you have, this is another H2 right here, then this is a H3, this is another H3. So that's the way the content is structured. Then after that, I now tried to like see, okay, how do I optimize the headings and the okay, the heading, how do I optimize the keyword, the variations and the contextual terms in it. So it's saying here that you need only one main keyword in your URL, and we already have that. It said leave as is, good. Meta title, you need only one of your main keyword, leave as is, good. H1, one, leave as is, good. So let me show you how this is in practice. You see the page title, School Management System in Nigeria. Fine. Then the URL here, see it, School Management System in Nigeria. Then in the H1, School Management System in Nigeria. So the same way we follow the report, we put each and everything that we wanted within where we were asked to put them. So now, in terms of writing a page for SEO, one of the most difficult things that you will face is obeying what the Page Optimizer Pro tells you, and also trying to apply your creativity as a writer. You know, the copywriting person probably came here and gave you some tips on how to make your content compelling, how to write good content that is going to make people want to convert. And now you are expected to carry all that talent and all that freedom and creativity that it gives you and put it in a structured content. That, I promise you, is the hardest thing that you can do. Because now, if you were to say that you wanted to write the content only within the structure, it wouldn't hit the right notes. So how me I've managed to solve this problem is to get the right heading structure first. Once I get the right heading structure, then I will now write my content within that heading structure. So I decided that the first thing I will talk about is me introducing the software. Then after that, I'll talk about how SAFSIMS can benefit their school. Then I also spoke about what separates SAFSIMS from the competition. Then I now said start a free trial. I now said start a free trial. Then also I now put in the testimonials for the software and also spoke about the other schools. Then I also asked people to book a demo. Then I put in my FAQ. So in my head, based on the structure of the H2, I was able to create these topics and decided that, okay, this is a good flow for the people. Then after that, I now thought, within these H2s, where will I slot the H3s? Then after I finished that, I now thought, within these H3s, how will I slot the H4s? And that was how I was able to mix the structure that is going to satisfy SEO to the being able to write content that is going to compel people to click. And it's also back to the stuff that we talk about in our conversion rate optimization, and probably Anye took in his own part about creating pages that are going to be aesthetically pleasing. So personally, I hope that anybody that comes to our page is going to look at this and say, save time and money with SAFSIMS, the best school management system in Nigeria. Get started for free. I hope they will be able to see this and say, I am sold. Click, bam. And everything here is put in for a reason. We made this color to be red because we believe that in a page that is mostly blue, red is going to catch people's attention. And in that red, if they see that get started for free, if they see that free, who doesn't like free things? So they will click it. The same way we went down, we said, since you people don't like our summary and our offer initially, let us give you a bit of grammar. Since you need more information, let us give you more information. So we introduced the school management system to them. We told them no school should take a casual approach. the central focus of every successful school has to be to make sure that students are getting the best education possible. So we wrote a lot of content that is going to be tempting to a school owner for them to be able to subscribe to the software. But the main point here is that we try to mix this content that is going to make a school owner, a human, want to buy. We try to mix it with the signals that are going to make Google's robots know that, okay, this is about school management system. And so, what did that result in? That resulted in a number one ranking. So, so that is basically it about on-page SEO. These are the main signals you need to click, and you also have to balance writing good content with also content that is going to hit the signals that I have already denoted. Switch back to the presentation. So, do we have any questions about on-page SEO? Okay, good. So now moving on to off-page SEO. Off-page SEO talks about the things that we do behind the scenes so that Google will know that this page is exhibiting the right authority, relevance, and trust. You have already made the front look good. You have already made the front of the car look good. The car has a good paint job, the interior is nice, the leather is good, the AC is working, but now we want to look under the hood. We want to make sure the engine and the transmission, everything is good. So off-page SEO describes what we will do behind the scenes to make sure that we are hitting the right signals. So there are three main elements of off-page SEO. These are backlinks, citations, and Web 2.0 links. I'm going to explain what each of these things are. So, for backlinks, backlinks are referral links from other websites to yours. They are the internet's way of giving your website authority. When trying to get backlinks, you want to go to sources that are powerful, relevant, and able to pass ranking power to your site. These are called do follow links. Then, apart from using your eyes, there's a tool named Majestic SEO you can use to decide how suitable a website is. So, backlinks is basically when a website links to your website. So now if you go on, let's say, what famous blog do we have here in Nigeria? So let's use Forbes, for example. If you go on Forbes website and Forbes has a link to your own website, that is a backlink from Forbes. And that is basically Forbes saying that this website, Ismail's website, is a good resource for so and so thing. That's just basically what a backlink is. So to bring it to real life, if you come to me to ask me, okay, how good is Anye at UI UX, and I tell you that Anye is great at it, that is basically me giving Anye a backlink. That's basically all that it is. So we said that for you to get backlinks, you want to go to sources that are powerful, relevant, and able to pass ranking power. So if you are going to ask me how good Anye is at what he does, that means you have established that I am powerful enough to give an opinion about Anye. And you have also determined that my power is relevant to the industry that me and Anye are operating. So that means that whatever opinion I have of Anye is valid. Let's just use an example that I used on Tuesday. We spoke about people that can play football, and I spoke about the fact that if you have played football with somebody, you have a higher chance of being listened to when you say that this person is a good or bad player. and that opinion is further enforced if if you yourself you have demonstrated that you know about football. So for example now, if me and this bros here, we know each other, we've played football with each other, he can say that okay, Ismail is a good player, Ismail is a bad player. But then let's say he actually is only Anye that has watched me play, but Anye doesn't know much about football. In fact, most of the time that I've taken Anye to watch me play football, he's mostly pressing his phone. So that means he has the power because he has actually seen me play, but he doesn't have the relevance because he doesn't have any knowledge of what he's seen. For I could be dribbling everybody in the whole pitch every time, but to him it means nothing because he doesn't have football knowledge. So he will not be a good source to ask. In fact, my son would argue that it's even better to ask somebody that knows football but hasn't watched me. At least that person will be able to ask me some key questions and will be able to get some answers in order to determine that at least even if he can't put it in practice, there is some football knowledge there remaining for me to just see if he can put it in practice. So that's basically what backlinks are. You need to you as a website that sells shoes, you cannot be going to go and get backlinks from, let's say, a tech blog. The two things are not related to each other. It is not relevant. Google is going to know that this person is cooking backlinks because people buy backlinks. So how do you get backlink sources? When doing competitor research, you can simply plug your competitors into research software and get their backlink sources. So there are tools here that allow you, once you are trying to rank for a page, you see the competition, you can actually carry the links to the competitors' websites, put it on these tools, and they will pull up the competitors' backlinks too. So you can know what backlinks your competitor is using to rank above you, then you can take those backlinks for yourself. Then you can also use Google to search out potentially relevant sites. So it's just sometimes it's just using your intuition. If for example you are in the financial space, you know that okay, in Nigeria, we have blogs like businessday.com, we have business post. If I can get a backlink from these websites, it's going to help me. The same way, if anybody that is in finance right now, getting a backlink from Forbes would be the ultimate for them. And if you are in tech, for example, getting a backlink from a tech blog is going to be highly relevant and powerful to your own business. So you need to look for blogs or websites that are relevant to the business that you are trying to rank for. Then you have to make sure that the sites that you get have a good high domain authority and they have a good page authority. So just to have a brief look at this, switch to my laptop. Okay, it's working, I think. What did I keep? Okay, so let's use the example of school management system in Nigeria. Then competing with savsims.com, we have let's go for this Nest app. Let's sorry. Okay, so let's copy the link. We are going to paste the link here. Okay, so this is one of the tools that we use. I don't know. The name of the tool is Uber Suggests, and it was created by someone named Neil Patel. Does that name sound familiar to anybody here? No? Okay. Neil Patel is one of the biggest SEOs in the world. He's not the best, but he's one of the biggest. So it is already showing us here that the website that we put has a domain authority of 7. Then it's telling us that it has 100 referring domains. What that means is that it has a backlink from 100 sites. To put that in human form, what this is saying is that if this site that we put here was a person, it means that 100 people have an opinion of this website. Then the backlinks here are 21,753. What this means is that 100 people have said 21,753 things about this site. That's all it means. So to put it in that term, 100 people have said 21,000. So now we could go through these 100 people. Some of them will be relevant, some of them will be irrelevant. But we are going to do better than them because we are going to get actual relevant people to back us up. For example, maybe if I am looking for a job in this place now, maybe my oga's referral will be stronger compared to Anye's own. That's all that it is. So you just have to make sure that you get referrals from powerful people wey know road. So if we were to scroll down here, we would see some of the websites that are referring to this. Okay. Okay, so here we will see some of the websites that are referring to these links here. Alexa, smartwebdirectory.com, portal.hallmark academy, the Good Shepherd schools, Satara, Solarpore. So these are all the websites. So what we try to do is that we copy all of this out, extract this information, and try to contact these people. So you can switch back. Sorry, I mistakenly closed. So after you have identified your sources, you now go to each source's website, you extract their contact information, then you send them emails asking them to collaborate. The thing about these sites is that the internet is a small community, so you can try to offer people backlinks in exchange for backlinks. Some of them charge. I've met people that will say, for us to give you a backlink, you have to pay $100, $400, $500, depending on how powerful their site is. Then, an important thing to note is that you cannot simply add backlinks to your site. It's important that you look natural. For example, you can't just get backlinks now and your site has never been shared on social media. You know, the main thing Google will now ask is that how is it possible that this person has a backlink, but their site has never been shared on social media? We have not seen it on Twitter, Facebook. That looks weird. It's the same way the IRS works, for example. Let's say now a tax worker comes out and sees somebody that is a civil servant is suddenly driving a 2020 Benz. You now be like, how is that possible on a salary? Then that is why they will now probe. So the same way, there cannot be backlinks without traffic. So that is why you need to first share your website on social media and make sure that it has enough traction before you can now attach a backlink to it. Then you also need to spread out how often you add backlinks, also not to arouse suspicion. So what we are doing here is actually natural, but we are doing it on purpose. These are things that should happen naturally as your site grows, but the job of an SEO is just to make it happen quicker. But even in our attempt to make it happen quicker, we have to make it look what? Natural. If not, it's going to be suspicious. So, Web 2.0s. Web 2.0s are similar to getting backlinks from other websites, but what Web 2.0 is, who is familiar with blogger.com, WordPress, who has created a WordPress blog? There are many types of Web 2.0s. Strikingly, all these websites, you have to create accounts on this website, write article on this website, and link them to the page that you want to rank. So the next thing in terms of building backlinks is the anchor text. Go to the SafSims website, that SafSims page. Yeah, that one. Okay, scroll down. Where are all the anchor texts? Sorry, scroll back up. I'm looking for any part of the text that is red. Okay, that would do. So, please just scroll over this. So when you are writing content, someone is calling you. So when you are writing content and you attach a link to some part of that content, the text that is clouding that link is what is called anchor text. So as you can see in this line, SafSims is integrated with Paystack, which in conjunction, all of this is black. This place is blue because that cloud-based is a link. Please click on the link, let them see. So that link has taken us to advantages of a cloud-based school management system. Please go back. So so the link here is to that page that Anya just went to, but the anchor text is this cloud-based. Please go back to the presentation. So anchor texts are used to link the backlinks to a website, and they are a key factor. There are 4 types of anchor texts. First, you can have the main keyword. That is, in our example, school management system in Nigeria. You can have variation of the keyword. You can also have just the URL. You just use the link as an anchor text. Then you can also use generic names like your brand name, our site, click here. So now, how do we use anchor text? The main and variation keywords should only be used for main backlinks. So basically, if you have a backlink from a good site that is relevant to you, then that is what you want to use for your, that is where you want to use your main keyword as your anchor text. Because Google not only looks at the sites that brought you here, it looks at the anchor text that you use. Then you can use the rest of them for other irrelevant websites and your Web 2.0s. Then It's also important to make sure that there are more non-keyword anchor texts that link to your website. If all of the anchor texts that are coming to your website all have your main keyword in them, Kai, Google is going to be like, this is suspicious. If you are ranking for a page that is school management system in Nigeria, and Google goes to Forbes, it sees that the anchor text that is linking to your website from Forbes' website is school management system in Nigeria. It goes to Linda Ikeji's blog, it sees that it's still school management system in Nigeria, linking it to your website. It goes to TechPoint, it goes to what's the other one, Tech Cabal, and sees that everything, the anchor text is all linked, that is linking to your website is all school management system in Nigeria. They're going to say, Kai, this is suspicious. We need to look into it. It's like this guy is cooking backlinks. It's like this guy is buying backlinks. Let us try to penalize him. So sometimes when I'm requesting backlinks, I used to tell them specifically, please use our brand name, Surf Sims, as the anchor text to the backlink. Sometimes I will write the article myself and send the article to them and just tell them, just copy and paste this article and don't worry about the rest. So citations are entries into business directories. They are important for building trust and authority. So what citations are is that sites like businesslist.com, sites like vConnect, do you guys know any of these sites? Checky. So basically, any sites that you can go and look for businesses that do different things, it's important for you to register your SEO page in it so that it will look natural. So basically, you are building an actual business and you are trying to convince Google that you are a legitimate business, you have the authority, you have the relevance, and you have the trust to do what it is that you want to do. So after looking at off-page SEO, we now have to ask ourselves, how do we track SEO performance? So we track SEO performances using Google Search Console. With this tool, we are able to see how many people saw our search results, how many people clicked on them, and of course, all the keywords we rank for and our positioning. And please switch to my laptop. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is an example of what Google Search Console looks like. So what this page is telling us is that so far we had 8,000, over 8,000 impressions. That means 8,000 people saw our page on Google, and this is since September 1st till November 14th. That's the day for yesterday, right? So out of this over 8,000 people, 291 people clicked on the page, and our average position is 25, and this average position is for all the keywords that we are ranking for. So if you scroll down here, you are able to see all the keywords we are ranking for. For school management system, we are 46 all over the world. For school management software in Nigeria, we are number 1.2. For school management software in Nigeria, we are 1.7. So these are the stats. These are the main stats that we look for in terms of how well we are doing in terms of SEO. So what this click-through rate is trying to explain to us is that out of all these people, 3.3% of these people are the people that clicked. Do you understand? So how do we optimize this with data? How do we optimize this? If impressions are low, that means we are not ranking high enough in keywords that have good volume. Anye, could you go back to Chrome? So just go back to school management system in Nigeria. Okay, scroll down. So in terms of SEO, you see these first three people. These are the people that will be seen by most people. We have a joke that if you want to hide a dead body, hide it in the second page of Google. How many of you, when you search for something on Google, how many of you go to the second page? You go to the second page? Really? How many of you go to page 3? You go to page 3? This is serious. How many of you don't go past the first 3 searches? Me personally, if I have to scroll to see your site, I'm not going to see your site be that. I will go for number 1, come out, go to number 2, go to number 3, and I'm done with my own Google search. So if people are not seeing your site, if your impressions are low, that means your site is not ranking high enough. And it is a fact that 90% of people don't go past the first page. That is a start from Google. So you are in a unique 10% of the entire world. So now, if we have a low click-through rate, and mind you, a low click-through rate means that a lot of people are seeing your okay. So if you have a low click-through rate, that means a lot of people are seeing your website, but a very small percentage of them are actually clicking. So this could be for one of a few reasons. Go back to Chrome. So the most common reason is that this content here and this content here is not doing enough to get people to want to click your site. It's back to what we spoke about, recognizing, knowing your customer, knowing their needs, and trying to put content that is going to make them want to click. So now, let's say someone comes in, he sees best school management software in Nigeria, then reasons why School Shell remains the best school management software in Nigeria. Maybe that content is not moving them very much to click. So here in for SafSyncs, we said, okay, what our website does, what our software does is unlock success. Unlock success, cut costs. So this cut costs and unlock success, it is not coincidental that it is there. We actually sat down and we had a meeting where we decided that the biggest problem that most school owners face is that they are spending too much money in terms of running their school. So we decided that cost is a very, very important factor for them. So that is why we made sure to put that we are trying to help them cut costs. Then we now said Nigeria's best. We put this best in capital letter because capital letters tend to catch people's attention more. Best school management system for efficient administration. We believe that efficient administration is something that they want. We believe that they have a problem with how inefficiently their school is being run and they want to do better. So we now added this maximize your school's potential as like a kicker so that we can improve our click-through rate. But right now, our click-through rate is 3.3%. We believe we can improve on that, and we are always working hard to improve. But the main thing is that if your click-through rate is low, this is the first place you want to look. Then, you can go back. So, the rest of the metrics that we are going to look at are concerned with CRO. We already took those metrics in the conversion rate optimization class. So these metrics that I have showed you right now, those are the metrics concerned with ranking up until people go on the page. Anything after going on the page, then we are going back to our conversion rate optimization metrics like conversion rate, usability, what else? Usability, engagement, usability, engagement, and conversion metrics. So I think that is all in terms of SEO. Yeah. So If we have any questions pertaining to SEO specifically, this would be a good forum to take them. Do we have any? Do we have any SEO questions? Because me, I have. Oh. We don't have any SEO based questions. So, uh, does someone want to ask something? Okay. So the main thing here is that we are trying to make Google happy with creating a page that they are going to look at and say this page is structurally sound, and at the same time we want to create content that is going to be appealing to human beings, so that when people read them they are going to be like, okay, this is what I need, this is what I am looking for, this product is talking to me. So those are the two things that we are looking at in terms of organic SEO. Not only do we want, so that is why even in terms of trying to rank for SEO, we'll also be looking at conversion rate optimization. We'll be sitting down, we'll be asking ourselves, what is our ideal customer? What kind of people do we want? What kind of content would those people like? What are their biggest problems? What are the questions that they will have? Let's see if we can answer them. All of this goes into building a page that is going to rank well for SEO. So we are going to look at a more straightforward form of marketing in terms of digital marketing. We are now going to look at PPC ads. So since PPC is going to be more hands-on, like there is no slide, so just
You know what? I think you can just free down, just have a recap, right? Like you said, for them, we have 3 month period, right? Let's just be like, my concern is that let them get this one first, right? For 1 month and just end it here. Just have a quick recap with them. Maybe in between, you can always try that.
if the chain is on.
In between, they what's it called? Make request. I think when they start actually doing it and reach like a good report, then we can.
So now I should recap everything from what we did on
If
Tuesday.
you want to go, and just idea next questions.
Do we have time? I don't know.
Okay. Whichever direction you want to go, sir.
Two. I don't think we have time for a full hands-on right now. So I would say we should just okay. We can do small hands-on in terms of SEO. Should be the main thing is that we are not going into PPC today.
Yeah, absolutely fine. So, what I
No,
think,
I'm asking because
what I'm saying is it one more thing. I know this is they see what the energy is. This is how they do it. Very annoying, right? So, instead of just giving them information overload, right, I think we can end here and then have them, because in coming with their programmer, their supervisor is going to give them task module. So when they have an issue, and run to us so that way you can focus on just people that are serious instead of talking to this market and not responding during time. So we can just recap it with what's it called, with questions and answers, and then as well as what's it called, just general questions, right? If they don't ask questions, you can just help them also even understand like a very simple definition to tell you what the entire flow of this thing is like. So start from this is what is important and just maybe like 5 10 minutes and then we'll end the class.
okay.
You don't need to present it.
I'll need a guide, so I'll just use your phone. Okay, so just a quick recap of what we've been able to do since Tuesday for the benefit of those that were not here or probably missed. So we looked at digital ads. So we tried to understand what digital or online or internet marketing is, and we basically spoke about it as the use of digital channels or platforms to advertise products or brands. So we also try to differentiate between digital advertising and digital marketing. We spoke about how digital marketing is a whole process that has to do with research, has to do with knowing your customer, has to do with trying to understand what your customer wants and how you are going to approach them. But advertising only has to do with the creation of the advert itself. So basically, a marketer encompasses an advertiser. You can't just go and market yourself as an advertiser alone. You know, that is just quite limiting. We also looked at why you want to go into digital advertising stroke marketing. We spoke about the desire to reach we spoke about the desire to reach a global audience to provide more cost effective and more stress effective way. I gave an example talking about how I could reach more people here sitting with a laptop than any one of you could reach them on foot with posters here, because I, with my own process, I am able to determine and find people that will be interested in my product. Meanwhile, you can't know for sure. Like only God can control the type of people that will be working here. So the ones that could be your ideal customer might not be interested in your product, number one. And even if they are your ideal customer and they are interested, they might not have the purchasing power at that point in time. And even if they fulfill all these three criteria, they might not just be in the mood to listen to you. They might be rushing somewhere. But me, with digital advertising, I am able to look for people that are ready to buy my product much quicker. Then I am more able to gauge with real-time data how well my product is doing. So we also spoke about the key digital advertising channels. We spoke about your own website, the importance of having your website, talking about how it is important to get people from the marketplace that is the whole world and try and get them to somewhere that you can control them. Let's just say that this place is a business and at Jabi Park is a competitor to that business, and let's say there are a lot of people running towards this road. You don't want to come out and be fighting with your competition on the road with customers. You want to carry those customers inside your own building where your guards are able to stop the competition from entering so that you can talk to them under AC in a serene environment so that they will be mentally charged to convert. So another thing is the internet. You go on websites, all of you browse on websites, you have seen ads. I can guess most of the ads are from Bet Niger because they seem to have the biggest advertising budget in Nigeria. Bet Niger, Betway, Bet here, Bet that. But those are the kind of ads that you see. We also see ads from Jumia, from Oraimo nowadays. So these are what you see on websites. Then search engines, we spoke about Google, and there are other search engines such as Bing, Yahoo, but Google is the biggest, obviously. Then social media is an advertising channel, and email too is also an advertising channel. So we also spoke about conversion rate optimization. Why it is important to do user research. I spoke about a few things just right now, talking about trying to get people that are likely to be interested in your product and trying to get them to buy your product. And to do this, you need to know many, many intimate things about them. If you did research and you realize that your potential customers like blue, you need to put blue on your website in order to attract your potential customer. So some of the things that I said, it's good to know demographic research. And by demographic research, you are trying to talk about the age range of your customer, the age range, whether they have children, where they live. All of these are demographic data. So all that data is good, depending on, and on some products you can apply it in the right way. For example, if you are selling football boots, like if you are trying to sell football boots, like I said, you are trying to target men that play football and also women that have, let's say, teenage sons. So these are good customers. So by their age, you will know them. So based on the society, you can sit down and think, if this is a society that usually marries late, the mother of a teenager would be around so age. So these are the things that go into demographic user research. And while that is valuable, it is important to go deeper. And going deeper means knowing what is the biggest pain that the customer has. No matter how senseless the pain is to you, you need to find out what it is and try and leverage it. A lot of people need to wear shoes in order to protect their feet. That is the core, that is why God created shoes. But there is a reason why a lot of people would rather go to Nike store to buy their shoes than to buy it from our roadside shoe sellers. And the reason for that is they want to look good, peer pressure, they want to seem prestigious and all that. And exactly. So they want to leave a certain impression on people. So if you are out here marketing your shoes to people, trying to hit the real, because you believe this is the core reason why people should be buying shoes, and you now want to go and say, okay, buy shoes, these shoes will protect your feet, blah, 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 blah. Based on the way society is, you are not going to sell. The people that are selling are the people that are trying to sell prestige, trying to sell the good life, to people. So you need to know what the biggest pain point is, and not just think in your head, this is the real reason why people should want shoes, and this is why we should center our marketing. You need to know their ultimate goal. Like I said, the ultimate goal for people wearing shoes in general is to protect their feet. But in reality, that is not it. Some people want to wear certain shoes for certain personal reasons, and you need to know what those reasons are. What questions will people ask? You need to know these questions. What are their objections? What are their interactions with people? What influences people to make decisions? If you realize that these people are influenced by what their friends say, then you create an ad that tells them that your friends are buying this product. You should buy this product too. What is their emotional state? If someone takes something very, very seriously and you are trying to joke about it, they are not likely to buy from you. Then what tasks, how stressful will it be to do business with you? A lot of people would rather pay more money for a business that will save them stress. And that's the fact. There is a reason why logistics is a business, because a lot of people are able to get goods and services from the comfort of their homes, and they value that a lot. So we also spoke about creating a journey map, and a journey map is basically knowing at what stage a customer is in their interaction with you. An example of a journey map that I spoke is that discovery, when they discover your products, when they are researching other products, when they are buying, when you are delivering, and post sales. But journey maps can depend on many different factors and can mean different things to different businesses. Another type of journey map is you are at a point where you don't know you have a problem. Then the problem becomes clear to you. Then you start looking for solutions to that problem. Then you find a solution that you want. You contact that solution and you try and buy that from that solution. So this is what a journey map, we also looked at what a journey map looks like. We said that a journey map is basically trying to understand the questions, objections, interactions, influences, feelings, and tasks of people at different points in their journey. So when someone is just discovering your product, what are the questions that they have? When they are researching, what are the questions that they have? When you are purchasing, what are the questions that they have? Being able to answer all these questions at different points of the customer's interaction is going to be key to you selling them. For example, if you are looking for a place to book a holiday, the questions that you ask the owner of the hotel from where you are is going to be like, does the hotel have swimming pool? Do they have a restaurant? But then once you get to the hotel, the questions that you ask are different, because you've already asked the questions that you needed to book, to make your booking. Now you are here, so your questions are different. Where are the directions to my room? Where is the hotel? Where is the gym? Your questions are different. So you need to know all these questions at different phases in order to be able to answer them so that you can deliver for your customer. We also spoke about using your journey map to create a sales funnel. You need to identify the touch points. You need to create calls to action for that touch point. You need to assign a role and you need to measure. So identifying touch points is, at this point of the journey, where am I most likely to contact this customer? Is it on social media? Is it on my website? Is it face to face? Then once I meet them at that point, what am I trying to achieve at that point? Now, after I've decided what I'm trying to achieve, what role does that achievement have in my life? Then lastly, after I've assigned a role to that achievement, what are the metrics I can use to measure? I used an example that day. You cannot just meet somebody that you decided you want to marry there and then and go and meet them and ask them to marry you immediately. No, they have to go through a journey. You might know that you want to marry this person, but they don't know you from anywhere. So you have to introduce yourself. You need to assign a call to action. Maybe your call to action for that day is just to get her phone number. Then you move them down the journey before you get to your ultimate goal. Then we spoke about the elements of a converting page. We spoke about the UI UX. The page must look good and must be easy to use for the customer. We spoke about the copy. We said the copy must be engaging and must encourage users to take action. We spoke about the hooks. You must give them some small conversions in case they are not ready to make the final decision that you want them to do. At least let them do something. Most times, a lot of websites, instead of getting you to buy, they will get you to put your email so that they can keep mailing you. You might not buy today, but one day they will send you an email that you'll be interested in. Then also, the conversion. That is the main thing. You have to make your conversion clear. You have to make it clear what you want the customer to do. So we spoke about how we track conversion rate optimization. We said there are 3 things we are tracking: usability, engagement, and conversion. Usability is how well the site is used. It's how easily the site can be used. How easily can someone come on your site and buy your product or subscribe to your service? Engagement is how well they are reading your content, how much they are clicking, how many videos they are playing, how many images they are opening. The things that you put for them to enjoy in your content, how well are they doing it? Conversion, that final action that you want them to do, either that sale or that booking, how well are they doing it? How easily are they doing it? Out of the people that are coming on your site, how many percent are actually converting? So we broke it down. So another key point here is to talk about data in context. Because someone is spending a lot of time on your website doesn't mean your website is good. It could be that they are looking for something, they cannot find it, and they are still searching. So you need to take data in context, And at the same time, if people leave your site and they come back, it could be that, and your content is not changing very often. That's bad. That means they are not getting what they want. But if your content changes constantly, if you keep updating your content, that means you want people to be coming back to be seeing your new content. So we spoke about some conversion disclaimers. We talked about how quantity is not good enough. We need to know how efficiently we converted. We said we also need to know how many of our conversions are our target audience after we have converted. So if, like I said, you have identified that 40-year-old mothers are your target audience, and most of the people that convert on your site are 23-year-old men, then you know that there's a problem somewhere. My marketing is reaching people, they are converting, but they are not the right people. And as such, it is reflecting badly on our sales. Let's say for the school management system that I spoke about earlier, if most of the people that are converting are not school owners, decision makers, then there is a problem. Like I said, you want to always track the decision makers. If you are selling football boots for 15-year-olds, you are not targeting the 15-year-old, you are targeting their parents because they don't have money. It's the parents that have the purchasing power and the decision-making power. A father can decide his child is not going to play football. You say he prefers basketball, Dama. So, like I said, who do we measure against? I spoke about this quote: there's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being better than your former self. So you need to look at your own metrics, decide your own journey, and decide what you want to improve on. Then we also spoke about the importance of avoiding dark patterns. You cannot use your copy to manipulate people. You cannot create scarcity when there is no scarcity. You cannot exaggerate. You cannot make it harder. We spoke about all these email channels that once you enter them to unsubscribe, before you find the button to unsubscribe, you sweat. Once you find it, you see it in a very small corner at the bottom of the email. Once you click there now, they'll take you to another form in another page. You now have to answer like 5 questions before you opt out. That is a dark pattern. It is manipulative. And the reason for this is that people are wiser now. People are privy to all the tricks of the internet. And another reason is that there are many, many options. If you stress somebody now, they'll move to your competitor quickly because they know they have options. So in summary, you have to create a page that is beautiful, full of value, engaging, usable, and able to convert. So if you balance this with a streamlined experience with very little noise, you are going to win. And I played a video for you where people were passing a ball around and there was a whole bear that was dancing there and nobody saw the bear. So we moved on to what we spoke about today, search engine optimization, how you need to have authority, relevance, and trust in a page. We spoke about the mission of an SEO, which is basically to defeat Google's algorithm in a natural way. We spoke about the importance of keyword research, why you need to find keywords that have high volume, have low difficulty, and also have high relevance to your niche. It's not just enough to get a keyword, and also has the right intent. We spoke about doing competitor research, trying to know what your competitor is doing so that you can beat them at their own game. Personally, I believe in incorporating all the good things that all the competition are doing so that I can beat all of them. So everything that they are doing well, we'll add it to my own page and we'll beat all of them comprehensively. That is my own SEO method. So we look at the competitor, we know that how many relevant sites we have, what is their domain ranking, how good is their content, how big is their content, what is their heading structure, what are the relevant terms that they are using on their pages so that we can defeat them. Then we also looked at an SEO site readiness checklist. And we looked at site speed, we looked at the robots.txt file. These are things that you check when you are doing SEO. Obviously, when we are doing the hands-on, we are going to look at these things in a much closer thing. We looked at sitemaps, we looked at schema, we looked at Google Webmaster Tools. So then we came to today's lesson, which I'm sure is fresh in each other's memory. But after ending the summary, I decided as a group exercise, let us just look at one of the things that we have done here. Let us try and feel, since nobody did the assignment, let us try and do it ourselves here very, very quickly if we have time. Can we quickly do this group activity? Okay. So, I need one of you to give me an example of any business. Let us create a journey map for this business. That's editable, but wonderful. So, who can give us a business here? Shoe? Catering? Okay. Food business. So, okay. So, in a food business, what are the stages that a customer goes through? Like, let's say for me now that I want to buy football boots, let's say, for example, my own journey would be that first I have to realize that my current football boot has spoiled and that I need football boots. That is one stage. So that is problem awareness. Then after that, I will now go into research to look for what boots do I want to buy, what products. Do I want a Nike product? Do I want Adidas? Do I want Umbro? I've been an Adidas person since, I don't know, I've been just like that. I just see those 3 stripes and I like it. So After that, after I decide, then I'll now ask myself, after I've done research, then I'll now go to the website. I decide on the website I want to buy from based on different factors. After I've found a provider, then I will buy. Then after buying, delivery. And after delivery, that is all. We don't have any post-delivery service. Once you have your boot, you have your boot, and that's it. So for a catering service, what does that look like? What is the first point of a customer's journey to a catering business? What? Uh-uh. From when they say catering business, it sounded like catering for events, right? It's not just. Oh, okay, so are we doing food or catering? Food. Okay, let's do food. So the first point is what? Hunger. No, just delete what. Yeah. Yes. Hunger. So after hunger, then what? Research. Okay, wonderful. What to eat? You might be in the mood for small chops, you might be in the mood for swallow. All of these things could affect the vendor that you are going to look for. Abi? So I guess the next thing here is looking for vendor that will provide what it is that you have decided you want to eat. Abi? Okay. Yeah. Then after you have now decided, after you have now spoken to vendors and decided where you want to buy, then I think purchase should be the next. Yeah. Then what next? Oh, I say delivery. Let's stop at delivery. Usually we don't want to put more than 5 points so that it won't be too bulky. So just leave delivery there. So now, when you are hungry, what questions do you ask yourself? And you put that there. Okay. So at this point now of what to eat, we can just decide that this is no longer a phase on its own. Do you get? So that we can fit in something else here. But let's keep going down. What objections might you have at the point of hunger? You know, what are the things that you wouldn't want at that point? You know, let me suggest an answer here. Let's say you are somebody that has certain foods that they eat only when they are hungry, you know. So at that point, I am probably objecting to small chops, indomie snacks. I want real food at that point. Or what do you guys think? What objections would I have at the point of hunger?
How far I am from my food.
Huh?
How far I am from my food.
What of money?
If you're looking for where to get food, I'm sure you already checked.
Hmm. Okay. Delivery time.
Yes.
The truth is that a lot of these things are interchangeable, and they are applicable at different phases. Or let's just say that I am too hungry to even have any objections at that point. Anything you put in front of me, I'm going to eat it. So, what what interactions will I have with a potential seller at the point of hunger? Let's say I go on a page of a food business, what am I looking to see there? Eh? So we are looking for, someone made a good suggestion. We are looking at the menu. Someone said we're looking at the menu. We're looking at prices. So what our influence is at the point of hunger? I believe a strong influence will be friends. Maybe someone has told you about a website before that they've ordered food easily from. So reviews, peer pressure, or it's not pressure, it's just friend influences. Then maybe the internet online. You've seen. So what are your feelings? Your feelings at that point, probably frustration, impatience, depending on the intensity of the hunger. Then your task here, we have already, the good thing about a good journey map is that one place can answer the other place. So your task here is basically to agree on what to eat. So now looking at this particular person at the point of hunger, would it be advisable to market this person on a specific food? Let them go to your page and they will see only jollof there. Yes or no? No. The person has not decided what to eat. So if they go to your page and they see jollof there, you are betting on the fact that most people would say yes to jollof. You are making a bet. But this person at this point is probably looking for somewhere where they will be able to go through different foods so that they can make their decision. So at the end of the day, it all depends on the person. And that is why we do research. Most people that are hungry, will they come on our sites deciding they want to have jollof, or are they more open-minded? So let's move on to what to eat. But you know what? Let's keep what to eat. Let's go to where to buy. So now, at this point, you have decided that you want to eat jollof, and now you are talking to different vendors in order to decide who you are going to buy from. What are the questions that you have for these vendors? Okay, how fast can you deliver? Okay, what other questions? Price. What other question? Okay, but I feel like once you have asked how fast they deliver, it doesn't matter to you whether they are delivering it from Pluton or Abbey. Like, so long as they tell you that they can get you your food in 20 minutes, the location is, I think, how fast can you deliver covers that. So what other question? If, for example, you have particular tastes for how you want your food to be, I believe that you should ask specific questions about the rice. I hope it's not too peppery or something like that. Or maybe I don't like too much salt in my own jollof rice or something like that. All these are valid questions. So just put questions about taste. Uh-huh. Or just questions about taste. Uh-huh. Preferences. So at this point now, you are going to definitely have objections. So what objections might somebody have at the point of purchase? So all these questions could potentially be objections. Delivery time, price, you know, and preferences. All your questions could be objections too. But are there any objections that are not questions? So interactions. What interactions would someone at this point want to see? Hmm?
Yes, the delivery versus number.
No, well, we've not yet got into that. This person has not even bought, so delivery is not even this thing. Okay, so at this point, we would say the interactions that they would be having with the business, on what platforms would they be? So probably social media. Yeah, social media, or maybe on the phone. So at this point now, in terms of influence, they've gone past the reviews from their friends or reviews from the internet. At this point, the only influence that they have is the seller. So basically, the seller's customer care, how well the seller responds to them, and how much they like what is being offered to them. So at this point, what could the person be feeling? Hmm? Hmm? You are not yet satisfied. You've not eaten your food. Thank you. Is a C. So apart from anticipation, maybe at this point, thought they were frustrated before, but I'm guessing the frustration and impatience has reduced. So we'll put excitement in the same category as anticipation, but also curiosity. Then also curiosity. Then maybe a bit of fear. What if they are served with something that they are not able to eat? Then what is their task? Their task at this point would be to get to the point of purchase. So what this suggests is to agree on everything, like what the delivery is, and so let's just do one more. So at the point of purchase, what questions will you be asking? Thank you. What objections would you have in this scenario? Huh? So A common objection would be payment before delivery. That's a common sticking point between businesses. Then at this point of their interaction, they will probably still be on social media and the phones. So we are assuming this is a business that doesn't even have a website. At this point, what would influence the person to either continue with the sale or cancel it? I would say convenience at this point, right? Or any other suggestions? What would influence you to change your mind at this point? So now, what would this person be feeling? You are at the point, you have already agreed, I am going to buy it, and you have agreed on how you are going to buy it and everything. Now you are at the point of purchase. So what are you feeling? Still anticipating. Okay. Or we can say that we can say that at this point, their anticipation slightly outweighed the curiosity, and also okay, the curiosity is still there, but let's say the fear has reduced a bit. You know, at which point would, because it's one thing to say they are anticipating, they are curious, and they are afraid, but there should be a difference in terms of what they are afraid of. Like, we should be able to note that difference so that we can satisfy them. So at which point is the customer afraid of being defrauded, afraid that they are talking to a potential scammer? Would it be at this point or at this point? Huh? Where is it, at the where to buy point, or at the purchase point, or at the hunger point? At the purchase point here. So let's just put fear of being scammed here. So when they are deciding where to buy, that fear is not a big issue. Okay. Fear of scam, then puts anticipation too. Then here in tasks, payments. The only task here is to pay, right? Okay. So let's just look at this as our journey map. So let's see a quick view of the next page. So this is a sales funnel. So let's create a sales funnel out of that journey map. Please go back. So first of all, we need to identify a touch point for any one of these points. So here, let's say the touch point at where to buy is on social media. And let's differentiate self. Here we'll put social media timeline. So someone is trying to decide where to buy. They've decided that they want to buy jollof. They've identified you amongst the 3 or 4 businesses that they want to buy from, for example. And they have seen you on their timeline. What would be the call to action that you would want the people to execute? So we are even assuming you don't have a website at that point. So what would you want them to do at that point? They are looking for where to buy. So what would be the next step? You need to identify a call to action. So what would that call to action be? Okay, that's another one. So we have sending a DM and we have call a phone number. So Aye, can you create like a note and just put it on one side here, like a small note? Okay. So just put touch point here. Then social media timeline. So after that touch point, we have identified a call to action, and that call to action is send a DM or make a phone call number. So the next line is going to be role of the call to action. Or just check the next slide. Let's see if we are on track. Okay, yes, assign a role. So what will be the role of that call to action? And there could be only three things. One of them is to grab their attention, another thing is to foster a relationship between you and your customer, and another thing is to encourage them to take action. So what will be the role of that call to action at that point? So just move. Let me see. I'm coming. So yeah, we'll wrap it up right now. So in this case, the role of our call to action will be to encourage action. So finally, what metrics are we going to use to decide whether our call to action, how do we measure success? So how do we measure success? Why are you giving them answer now? No, we've not gotten to the point of review. This person has just simply said they want to call you or they want to send you a DM. You know, so the main thing is the amount of inquiries we've gotten from DMs. So, Ayen, just put in DM inquiry, DM stroke phone inquiries. So you need to remember that these people are deciding where to buy. So at this point, them buying is not the goal. They are not at that point in the journey yet. It is during this phone call, another point in the journey, that you will now try to get them to order. So that's the beautiful thing about the journey map. It's that you don't rush people. You know, someone coming from your social media to your DMs or your phone doesn't mean they are ready to order yet. The mission here is to try and get them to that point where they are ready to order. So the mere fact that they are making inquiries at this point doesn't mean that they are ready to order. So what would count as success here is just the amount of inquiries you get via DM or via phone call. But the one thing I want to point out to you guys is that this sales funnel here has covered one point of the journey map. And the mission at the end of the day is to create a sales funnel for each point of this journey map, so that by the time someone gets to the DM and you see that they are not ready to order, you can easily send them back to the former place, and on another day they can come back and make that order. And that is the beauty of a sales funnel and a journey map. You don't have to do anything on your own. You have systems in place that are ready to answer people depending on the point of the journey map that they are. So I would encourage you guys to come up with a business in your head and try to fill this table based on the business, and we can review on some other day. And you can create this interaction, change it to touch points so that it should not confuse anybody. Okay, so another thing, there is a reason why there's a reason why we can have the same touch point at different points. Different parts of the same touch points can satisfy different needs. You know, the website, someone's website can have a page where they just give you information. It can have a page where you can buy. It can have a page where it will just answer your questions. So the same touch point here, social media, is talking to people that are looking for where to buy. And on this same social media, you can make a purchase. The main difference is that on the timeline, you are trying to make people decide where to buy. Then when you send them to the DMs, you are trying to get them to what? Actually buy. So that is basically it in terms of creating a sales funnel, a journey map, and creating a sales funnel from that journey map. So do we have any questions lastly? Okay, so thank you very much and have a nice day.